Welcome to the Sector Spin with Terry. In this video series, I share with you what I'm watching each week in the various sector industry subgroups. This week, I want to take a look at stocks in the Residential REITs industry subgroup of the real estate sector. First, let's start with the overall list of sectors that comprise the S&P. Here's the real estate sector. Currently, it's in the Improving Quadrant. And it's actually been relatively underperforming the benchmark S&P since late fourth quarter 2019, where it last entered the lagging quadrant. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to take you on a little animated tour here. Let's go all the way back here. The last time I saw real estate in the improving quadrant actually moving down into the weakening quadrant is all the way back in November 2019. So let's see where it's been. You can see the rotations it's gained momentum, and then it's got up in the improving quadrant, failed really to breach over into the leading quadrant, pushed back down into lagging, wandered around. Another attempt here in November 2020 to push up in, failed, and here it comes again, starting to move back out. So once again, you can see it now has a northeasterly heading. The other thing I see is that the length of this last tail segment indicates an acceleration is in progress with respect to momentum, along with moving to the right. The heading moving to the right also shows some relative strength improvement. Prior tail was shorter than the current tail here. Let's take a look at the symbol list for the real estate industry groups. So the real estate sector is divided into these various industry subgroups. One in particular stands out to me. It's got an improving trend and a recent hook back to the north, indicative of increasing momentum and investor interests. Now this one here is the Dow Jones U.S. Residential Real Estate Index. You can see this northeasterly vector and increasing, accelerating, just like the overall XLRE. Now let's take a look inside the stocks that are inside this industry list. And here we are. So we're going to start with the relative rotation charts and examine kind of the overall pattern that we're seeing here. As expected, the majority of the stocks in this group remain to the left of the benchmark. But what interests me is this collective move north to northeast in many of these stocks. Now this one here is the Dow Jones USRN in the improving quadrant, like we saw, and then all of these stocks are essentially represented by this segment here. Okay, three other stocks here are also showing an improving trend: Camden Property Trust, Avalon Bay, and now American Homes for Rent. Also, this Mid-America apartment communities also had an improving trend. It's just now looks like it's pushing over into the border here from improving to the leading quadrant. Now, a few have seen northerly hooks, and they've already moved over into the leading quadrant. Here we have Equity Residential, we have UDR Inc., and we have Essex Property Trust. Let's take a look at some price charts on these guys. So here we go. I've got a new layout that kind of helps me navigate this. I've got price chart here, watch list here, the relative rotation here. Let's start with Equity Residential. And you can see this is the pre-COVID highs just a year ago. You can see the decline, the initial decline down into the March lows, where the overall market was not the absolute low for these REITs. These guys meandered and just continued to underperform. But we set a new low in here at 45.49, and we've been working on generally an uptrend channel here in equity residential. This one has an upside pre-COVID resistance market 87. You can see recently it's tried to approach this April high. Again, it tried in June, and it just hasn't broken through this. So I still got this level here at 69 represented as a resistance target. We'll have to see whether we can break through that one. Here's UDR. Now UDR actually broke through its June resistance levels here. You can see represented by this line here once, back down below it twice, and still challenging it a bit. So its next major upside resistance is around $51 at its pre-COVID highs. Here is Mid-America Community. Now this one has already cleared a couple of resistance levels, and we will now mark these as support levels. It does look to be attempting to reach up to its pre-COVID highs near this 146 mark. Essex Property, let's look at that one. Here's Essex Property. This one looks to be testing again, but currently rejecting from its June highs, which it also briefly touched back in November. Well, if we truly are on the edge of a major sector rotation, it's always a good idea to be prepared with a watch list containing stocks exhibiting strength in the face of broader weakness. That's why having a powerful tool such as Optima to help us drill into the details of the sectors and sector subgroups gives us a key advantage and an ability to be more selective in the stocks which we choose to trade or add to our portfolio. Good luck in your trading ventures, and be sure to check us out at tradinganalysis.com.